Good morning. Yesterday I said I would talk about, sorry about the microphone, going it alone as I'm repacking for my next trip for a couple of days. So I've had a really good year, amazing year, and it's actually been a couple of great years, but this last year especially. And I probably mentioned it in another one of my videos that I spent a week with my daughter hiking up around Tahoe, and then I led a trip, bicycle trip, with a couple from Utah. And gosh, what a great trip that was. It was only a week, but absolutely fantastic. Sierra, around Tahoe area, and then the Eastern Sierra. And after that, I took off by myself and just did a whole bunch of trips, side trips on the Eastern Sierra that I've been wanting to do. So unbelievable. And then I had a really good winter. You know, winter is usually pretty slow for me because I'm either guiding a trip or I'm a carpenter. Those kind of jobs just depends on where you are. I'm a project carpenter, so I go to different places. And less and less of that this year and doing more of the bike trips. So wanted to talk a little bit about it. Somebody had asked me real quick before we go into going it alone, because it does relate to this. You know, like how do you get started in doing stuff like that? And really, the bicycle stuff was a hobby. Some of you know from the past, especially friends on here that I know and family, that I keep showing these pictures because they just work out great. I was a guide up in Alaska and other places, guiding mountain trips. And then I started backing away from that a little bit and doing bicycle trips. So South America, Sierra Cascade, things like that. So last year I started really working on, well, like we were talking about yesterday, vibration and energy. You know, what a cliche, right, for a lot of people. And that's interesting. You know, we can go on and on about energy and vibration, the science. You know, we don't have to talk about misinformation and things like that because it's as real as the ground beneath your feet. So anyway, to answer that question to the person, I load up. First thing I did was I found the bike. I got the racks. I put the bags on the racks and I took off. I went with a friend the first few times, and then I started doing solo trips. During the COVID situation, I went solo completely, even a little bit before that. Then during COVID, when we started going deep into it, and they started demanding that or mandating things, my gut feeling was give it a break here and head to South America into the mountains and bicycle for a while. And that was good and bad, but a lot of good. And the bad was great lessons and tools for what I use now in my living. So, yeah, 1 year in Colombia. Anyway, back to the biking. It's just become part of my life. Now the folks that I took on this trip this summer want me to, it's what I'm doing right now, organize a trip to Bolivia and actually lead that trip. So it's just going to be probably 4 of us. And it was going to be them, just 2. Now it's going to be 4. And that keeps me busy planning, getting ready, adjusting what I'm going to take, how I'm going to travel. This is a long trip, so we'll be going through villages, Trans-Ecuadorian route. Study that. If you know about that, then you know what I'm talking about. And that's what's going on right now. And what I wanted to talk about also was going it alone, and why and how that helped me a lot and what that means. And yesterday I said on the last video, it doesn't mean leaving your family and friends and society and taking off, you know, and living like a monk. What it means is taking what you have right now, just like me, what I have available to me, uh, to make things happen. And if you don't have anything going on or you don't have anything happening, uh, all I can suggest is to get started on movement. Just start moving yourself around, getting out for a hike. You know, I'm not talking about doing this or, you know, hauling 100-pound load through the mountains. I'm talking about getting out for a walk, to start getting things moving through your body and get your mind off of any sort of social media, you know, mainstream media, any of that kind of stuff right now that might be getting to you. But going it alone doesn't mean leaving everybody. It means finding your niche, finding something, a hobby. This is my hobby. This is my tool. If you don't have one, you know, maybe just seeing this will help you develop something that, and think about, well, gosh, I've had this all my life. I mean, you made it to here, right? I'm not going to be cliche and say, hey, if you're watching this video, you made it to here, but you did, and you're reading certain things, and maybe you're reading a lot of self-help stuff, and that's okay, but, you know, there is a certain point where most of that stuff that you're reading is already here, and it's a reminder, and that's the book I'm just finishing, Transcending. It's just a reminder, and I'm going to use my book, which is small, and for me, like a handbook. I think I'm repeating myself from the last video, but that's how I will use it. And so that's the first thing. You know, the very first thing is having something. And, you know, people, again, will say, well, I don't have anything to live for. What am I going to get from even trying to do that? Well, let me tell you something very profound you can get from it. It isn't money. Although, I mean, look at me. I can use myself as an example. I've been through a lot in the last 3 years. Put a lot of attention into recognizing what kind of stuff I'm feeding myself, my body, physically, you know, taking care of my mind, less TV, less social media. These things do matter. And once I kind of got myself out of that vibration, everything changed. I went on this trip. It developed into another trip. Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, and which I've already been to already, Colombia. So things will start happening, but you do have to kind of get out there and turn the wheels or get your things going on, get your body moving. If you don't feel good, nothing happens, and you got to feel good first and foremost. You want to feel good, and if that means getting your health back in order, I mean, I couldn't be out here making this video if I felt sick or I was hungover, and I don't drink anymore. I'm motivated to get every day moving along, because as soon as I do, there's results. There's a pause sometimes, but then as soon as you don't expect it, there's a result. So really important. You know, these tools here I use for the bike. These tools I use here in the big mountains and glaciers. And then getting across life, I use these tools that are all unseen. They're all in here, and they do have to be revisited. You know, I don't go through life every day now. Okay, I can put away all my readings and any of this kind of stuff. I'm good now. It has to be pretty constant, and you're more aware. As soon as you start doing this, as soon as you start recognizing the low vibrations you're living in and the people around you, and that's the other thing, you know, you may have someone you live close to that's in a very low vibration. You learn to kind of not distance yourself, but you learn to balance. You learn to balance your time in that vibration, because you do have to visit that vibration sometimes, and it helps that person get out of it. If you're around them with a higher vibration, you're going to eventually bring them out of it. Maybe not. That doesn't always happen. So again, if it's a loved one and you're helping them through something, that's different. If it's a friend who's in a low vibration, who's keeping you in that, um, you can throw a rope of hope. You can try to help them as much as you can, but you can't jump in the boiling water with anyone. You know, someone can sit in there. It's like that old misery loves company thing. Well, that's kind of a bad way to put it, but you know, if there's a boiling pot of water and somebody's sitting in there saying, "Please come in with me," all you can do is just hold their hand and say, "Come out," but you're not going to get in there with them. So you're going to stay out of that vibration as much as you can. And the other thing is not to be so freaked out about it that you're not around people. Balance. You just have to kind of balance the load you carry and who you're around. That's another chapter in the book, balancing the load you carry. So going it alone, it's tough. Doesn't mean leaving everybody. It means taking the rest of this journey here, and it's malleable, molding it to what you want to see out here, that you're always looking at, that you want. And I'm not talking about vision boards. Maybe that'll help you. I'm not talking about big money signs, because as soon as you wipe clear all of those, what I want to say, materialistic needs and wants and facades, then all of a sudden the things you need, things you want, start to come into your life. I'm not rich, but I have so much to look forward to. I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm going to lead a trip in Bolivia. Do I worry about having a heart attack? Well, I don't even think about it other than trying to take care of my body as much as possible. I have children. I have 2 grown daughters who support the heck out of me, and their mother. So, and my mom, who just turned 80. I have a lot of support. I have a lot to live for. Now, 3 years ago, I was almost dead in South America. So, you know, it's all relative, right? I'm not sitting here with a new Tesla and new house. Although I have land in Northern California that I'm working on right now. Hopefully that all comes through. That's a whole nother story. That's been a work in progress. But when I have land, I won't build a big old house on it and start accumulating a bunch of shit. I did that in Alaska. I had enough stuff, and I don't want all that stuff. As a matter of fact, I can almost fit everything I own on this bike, but I have a couple of boxes in storage, things like that. If you're homeless, I have a couple people that I have on my channel here that are homeless or close to it, and this is not for everybody, right? The bicycle. But if you have a way to take your backpack, if you have any way at all to transform your backpack into panniers, saddlebags, get some racks on a bike, it doesn't have to be expensive, so you can roll, it will help you a lot. That's another video. I'm going to suggest in this video also for the guy who said, you know, where do I get a bike? And that's a good question. Marketplace on Facebook. Just anywhere. You don't want to get a full suspension bicycle, but again, another video for that. Get a bicycle. You don't have to have all the stuff for it yet. Just get the bike. As a matter of fact, when I got back from Colombia, I got the bike, I put a rack on it, and then I put another rack on it, because everything, all of my other stuff is still in Colombia. So I started from scratch with this. And as a matter of fact, my daughter gave me this bicycle.